The main training course that I offer is my technical analysis and day trading course. And let me run you through what you can learn on this course. So the first 5 modules teach you all the technical analysis techniques and tools that I use. So not only will you be able to perfect what I do, but I also intend to save you months of time working through all the technical analysis techniques and tools that I found did not work. When I started around 2005, which as I'm recording this today was about 20 years ago, like everybody, I littered my chart with all sorts of tools. I thought the more tools and the more indicators and the more oscillators that I had on my chart, the better my analysis would be and the easier it would be for me to find low risk trade opportunities. And of course, it doesn't work like that. I couldn't see the wood for the trees. Every level ended up being a tradable level. So it took me years to cut back, experiment with different tools, experiment with different techniques, experiment with different time frames, and then see how those time frames interact with each other and how I could find levels of confluence on different time frames. It's a very complicated process. It took me years to perfect because you don't know what works consistently. And the only way you can figure that out is by practicing with different tools and different techniques over weeks, months, and in fact, years. So if you take my course, you're going to immediately learn what works. And for me, I'll tell you, it's Fibonacci levels. They are incredibly important to me. I use them every single day on every single piece of analysis. Trend lines, moving averages, 4 different time frames. And I know how to combine all of these with a slow stochastic, which gives me overbought, oversold indicators. I don't use RSI. And with these techniques, I'm consistently able to find low risk trade opportunities day in, day out for myself and my subscribers. So this is what you'll learn in the first 5 modules. I do actually teach some other things which are important, which you might like, but I don't use, such as Ichimoku Cloud. It's interesting to understand how the maths works on that. Bollinger Bands. I teach you how to use them. I don't actually use them myself. And what's also important about this course is it includes free private mentor sessions with me. I will act as your private mentor. I will act as your private accountability partner, and I will act as your private and personal performance coach. You need all of those if you really are going to excel and be the trader that you dream of being. After you've learned all my technical analysis techniques, you will move on to another very important subject: trade management, account management, and risk management. What does that mean? You can be the best technical analyst in the world, and you can be capable of spotting incredible low risk trade opportunities that might return 2R, 4R, 6R. But the problem is, if you don't understand how to trade manage, if you don't understand how to efficiently trade execute, and know how and when to trail your stops, know how and when just to enter the trade. Should you scale in? Should you go in all at one price? Too many people have FOMO just entering a trade. They think they should be in a trade all the time, or they spot an opportunity and they can't wait to jump in. They're in too early, they're over leveraging, or they miss the trade. And as the price moves away from their entry point, they're chasing it. The risk versus reward goes in the wrong direction. They're taking way too much risk because they're getting in at the wrong price, and the reward is too small as the price already moves towards the target. If you've been trading for a few weeks or months, you'll know what I'm talking about. You have to avoid that. And then when you're in the trade, when do you trail your stop? How far do you trail your stop? How many targets do you set for the trade? Do you scale out of the trade? And how do you scale out of the trade? Or do you add to the trade as it's winning? All of these things you need to think about as part of your strategy. And then in the final modules of the course, we delve into trade psychology, which is incredibly important. Because no matter how good you are at spotting trade opportunities, no matter how good you are at executing the trade, if you do not have your emotions and your thoughts under control, and if you then start trading impulsively, if you start revenge trading, if you start over trading, over leveraging, you will start to consistently lose money. So once you understand the mechanics of technical analysis and trading, you then move on to trade psychology so that you avoid all the traps and pitfalls that every trader falls into when he or she starts trading real money. Once you've gone through that course, you will understand absolutely everything that you need to understand in order to become a consistently profitable trader. Now, as part of this package, since I first wrote the course back around 2015, I have trained thousands of traders and I've learned more about the problems that traders face, some that I had faced myself and some that I hadn't faced, and I had to tackle with my students, and I learned how to teach them to overcome the problems. And as a result, I've written 3 other courses. Let me just run through those with you because I'm now including them for free. If there was only one technical analysis tool that I was allowed to use, it would be Fibonacci retracement levels. They just work so well. In my main course, I do teach it, but I decided to write another more detailed course with more live examples because it's something that people seem to really struggle with. And I have a particular way of drawing my Fibonacci lines with sublines as well. So in order to teach this, I've written a completely new video course and ebook. If you really want to get to grips with Fibonacci trading, you have to enroll on this course. There are so many different ways of just entering a trade. And then there are so many different ways of managing a trade. Should you trail your stop? When should you trail your stop? How far should you trail your stop? Should you scale out of a trade? Should you add to a winning trade? All of these are really important things that you need to consider. I teach all of this in my trade management, account management, and risk management course. How to manage risk, how to make sure you don't blow a big hole in your account. Lots of hacks and tips for you to remain in control of your account, not over leverage, not over risk. Probably the most important part of trading. It's absolutely vital that you then understand trade psychology. So in order to teach this, I've written a completely new course with video. You will think you know it all until you start trading with real money or until you start trading a prop account. And then fear and greed sets in. We all do things wrong. You get too greedy. Your expectations are too high. I have made all of these mistakes and I've taught thousands of people. And from them, I've also learned all the other emotional problems that they've gone through that I may have not. So not only will you learn from my experience, but you'll learn from everything that I have learned from teaching other people how to trade and all the psychological problems that they have gone through. If you are struggling with your discipline, with your confidence, then I really urge you to take this course. And do contact me if you've got more questions. We can set up a Zoom meeting and we can talk more about what you need and what this course can offer you.